Sean Chandler here, and I'm doing a live review and reaction to my thoughts on the latest episode of The Flash, Season 3, Episode 21, Cause and Effect. This will be filled with spoilers, and if you're watching this at a later date, because it is recorded live and people can chime in, I might seem a little bit ADD as I jump around responding to people, or maybe no one will watch along with me, so maybe that won't happen, but if it does, that's what's going on. But with that said, like I said, this will be filled with spoilers, and so as I go through it, that's what's going on. Anyway, so let's just dive into it. I really liked this episode. This was a very solid episode that brought back the fun and the levity of the show and the humor of it, and kind of everybody got a really good moment throughout the episode. And so with that said, where does this one pick up? It picks up where last week left us off, which is we discover who Savatar is. It's future deformed Flash who's quite angry. And so we pick up here and what's going on, and they have a back and forth conversation, and that one conversation where we discover why evil Savatar and Flash is all that. That's the only thing in the episode I did not like. The actual explanation for why he turned into Savatar, I did not care for that in particular. It just kind of felt very TV show-ish. It felt kind of like the cheap, easy answer of, oh yeah, so you made a time remnant to defeat me, and then that person who created the defeat me became me because you ignored me. It's like, I don't, it's kind of clever, but the way you said it, the way you executed it, did not cut it for me. It did not work for me. So I wasn't crazy about the exact information about how Savatar became Savatar and why these Time Remnant became evil. Beyond that, the episode itself was really good. Just kind of a good old return to form to what we like about this show. And so the basic premise of the episode was that because Savatar has Barry's memories, because he is Barry, that they need to do something to screw with his memory so that Savatar doesn't know what's going on, and they start screwing with his brain a little bit, and boom, what happens? They erase all of his memory entirely, which leads to all of the fun hijinks you would expect from Barry not having his memory. It kind of plays out very much just the funny scenarios, but the thing at the core of it that I really enjoyed that made the episode just have a much lighter, fun spirit to it is that it took the weight off of Barry's shoulders. It took all of the brooding, the negativity off his shoulders, and so we got to see fun Barry again without kind of all the weight of the world, and they tied that into the episode, and I thought that worked really nicely because it let us see the Barry that we know, we love. We get to see them kind of exploring this idea of why he is the way he is and where he's at. And so all those elements really worked. This is kind of episode I hope they look at and they go, yeah, we need to make sure we capture that kind of moving into the next season. That fun, these characters, just the joy that they have is what makes this show fun and different from, say, Arrow, which inherently should be kind of brooding. This one is supposed to be the fun, lighthearted one, so then when you kind of have the weight of the world on everybody's shoulders and we got to save my fiance from dying and I'm going to propose to her just to try and change the future, to try and when you get so heavy, it loses the spirit of why we kind of love this show. So this one, very much a good return to form. So other things kind of going along with it. As I said, the humor throughout I thought worked really, really nicely. Like there's just a little joke at the beginning of it where they're joking around, they go to Wells and they talk about Star Trek and hey, do you have Star Trek in your world? He goes, of course, we've got Voyager. It's like, that's such a funny joke if you're a Star Trek fan, that it would be Voyager would be the one that he has. And so just little things like that throughout the episode just made it work really nicely, made it very funny, made it very enjoyable. Other things kind of throughout it. I love what they're doing with Wells having this love interest in the wacky, kooky scientist lady. Of course, they just happen to be two brilliant people that are gorgeous because it's the CW, because everybody's going to be gorgeous. But just kind of watching it, it reminded me of Michael and Holly on The Office. You see these two super awkward people that couldn't really get along with anybody else, that don't match up with anybody else, but they match up with each other pretty nicely. And I just kind of loved that about the nature of it. Thought that worked really, really nicely. And just kind of as you're going through it, just even the plot device of Savatar losing his memory because Barry loses his memory and the Kid Flash loses his power, all those little kind of elements of the time travel, that's when the time travel is fun. When there's something in the episode that's explored and touched on, that's where the time travel's fun. When it gets so convoluted that in the future, Barry tries to stop Savatar, so he creates these time remnants, and then one of the time remnants tries to kill Savatar, but gets survived and gets ignored because then in the future he goes back to the past. It gets so convoluted. When it starts doing that stuff, it loses me a little bit. But in this episode where they do simple type things, I thought worked really nicely. Tyler Bass is saying, this episode brought me back to the pilot. Totally agree. I absolutely agree with you on that one. I just remember watching the pilot for the first time and kind of being surprised by the freshness and the funness of it. Superman says sup, or our Superman says sup. Hey, sup, back to you. It says weird when I say that. It doesn't work nearly as well as when it's typed. But as it was mentioned, this one kind of brings you back to the pilot and that fun back before the weight of the world was on their shoulders. And I love that about this episode. I love that Wells is getting this love interest. And just kind of throughout the whole episode, it was just fun. Go for Show says, hey back, shout out to you. Just a fun return to form and just scenarios that are interesting. Barry on the stand, unable to know things because he's kind of clueless about things. Alex Enriquez says, sup man, hello, back to you. I loved all that stuff. Even a lot of the times on this show, I criticize the special effects. I get it's a CW show, so it doesn't really make me like the episode less. I just bring it up because it's worth mentioning. But like this episode, I even liked the special effects. Like there's one where he first discovers his powers and he starts running around and he's like looking like confused and then trips over. I loved that scene. Like, in the way the effects were used, I thought it looked good. I mean, it doesn't look like a big superhero blockbuster, but it doesn't need to. It just needs to look good in and of itself, and it did, and it worked. I really enjoyed what they did with that, and even the scene itself, seeing Barry discover his powers again. Once again, like the callback to what we just mentioned before, bringing us back to like the pilot. I just thought that worked really nicely. Let me see, is there anything else I wrote down? Oh yeah, even the little joke in the courtroom where they're sitting there and they're picking on the villain guy's name, and then Cisco reaches over and he goes, hey man, I think your name's great, because he can see the guys listening to him. Just that's such a return to everything we love about this show. So like as I keep saying, the only thing I didn't like about this episode was the specific reveal about who Savatar is and how he ties into it with the time remnants. That didn't work for me. I didn't hate it. It was just kind of like, okay, that's what I thought you were going to do, kind of a time remnants. That's the theory people have been mentioning. Brought that one up. That's what it was. And then it's just kind of like, oh, he was bummed out that they kind of excluded him. It's not all that compelling. It doesn't, like with some of the other ones where the big reveals at the end of the season have been so interesting and we've cared so much. This one just feels like Barry, time remnant, becomes a mustache-twirling villain. Gopher Show says, I love the episode. Was awesome seeing Barry happy. Totally agree. Same page with you. Anthony Marafa says, sup, back to you. Tommy Perkins says, hi, hello, back to you. Nice, I'd say nice shout out to you, but there you go. But yeah, just thoroughly enjoyed. This was so refreshing. This whole season, I haven't been frustrated like I have been with Arrow the last few seasons. It wasn't like that. This season, it's been more kind of like, okay, this is still pretty good. I still kind of like this. But it wasn't, it felt like it was missing the magic. And this episode felt like they brought the magic back. And maybe my only second negative for this episode would be that first one being the specific reveal. And the episode was so great. But then my negative thought as I was watching it was, man, there's only 2 episodes left, and I'm wondering if this episode had been earlier, if the reveal about Savatar had been earlier. It seems like some of these elements they could have done more with. It's like right now that we're so close to the end, my favorite things about the season are happening right now. This episode being one of them. Wells with this lady friend, one of them. Even just the stuff with the time memory Savatar, the interaction with the time loop and how they affect each other, that's really interesting to me. And we're almost done. And so that's like the negative to the episode was, oh, this is so good, this is so exciting. Man, it's going to come to an end soon. Right as you really are getting me in, right as you're getting me excited, it's coming to an end soon. So with all that said, that's, everyone that's chimed in. We got Tom Perkins says, this episode is amazing. I just wish we could see a little bit more Savatar. Yeah, I would agree with you. This episode, I almost feel like, oh, my internet was giving me trouble there. But if they found a way to make this 2 episodes, and so we could have gotten more of, per se, Savatar. And so you have one episode that's this one that we got right here, that's kind of exploring the nature of it, and then you have one just really messing with this idea of their loss of memory and memories of the two of them getting it back and getting the Savatar part to it. But then again, like I said, I wish that this twist reveal would have happened 3-4 episodes ago, or just even 2 episodes ago, so that we had more time to explore Barry and them sharing the same memories, thoughts, and the changes they make with Barry then go to Savatar. Oh yeah, that's actually one negative I did have. The final scene in it where they're like, hey Barry, look at this ray gun, we have to stop Savatar. And I'm thinking, why didn't you guys have a secret meeting with Barry down the hall? Because if you bring Barry in, we got some problems here because now Savatar has these memories. But yeah, so anyway, I was very excited about it. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Anyone watching want to chime in? Additional things to say? Try and get back to my spot. Sorry about the internet stuff. Yeah, sometimes my internet gets kooky. Any final thoughts? Anyone live, watching in, chiming in? I guess not. I guess I can close out from there then. This is fun. I enjoyed that there, in having little bits of the brooding side of it, the darkness. Like that gives a contrast. But when you sit in the darkness, you lose what makes this show special, which is that fun, a certain innocence per se. And you got it here. The magic was back. The return to the pilot. This was a cool episode. Yeah, with that said, if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I'll be back next week. Oh, we got someone... Anthony Ruffin says, I wonder what Jay's reaction to Barry being Savatar will be. Great question. Like, that's stuff that, with so little time in the season, I don't know if we're going to be able to explore that. Go for Show says, the beginning of the season was a little bit boring, but now so many things to take. Yes, exactly. The first season, beginning of the season, like, okay, another speedster, okay, but it's getting going now. But back to the Jay question, I really wonder what, if they're going to have time to even have Jay kind of work into the story to figure out his thoughts on it, because we got 2 episodes left. There's only so much you can do. Once again, reiterating, man, I wish this could have been a little bit earlier, just 2-3 episodes earlier, and we could have explored this stuff a little bit more. I will be back next week to do this, once again, live broadcast right afterwards to discuss my thoughts. If you guys chime in, I love to go back and forth with you guys, talk with you guys about the episode. That's a lot of fun to do. I'm doing this on my phone, which makes it much easier to do this than normal. Anthony Ruffin says, I sub. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Go for Show. You're awesome, dude. You are awesome. All you guys are awesome for watching in, chiming in. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you can join me again next week, same exact time, right after the episode's done. I'll be joining in. I will be starting this. Hopefully you guys can come back and we can interact a little bit more. Like I said, especially coming off this episode, I'm excited to see next episode, to talk about next week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next week.